If you've ever felt like you're being overlooked at work, so your efforts aren't being recognized, you're being passed over for promotions, for projects, and it is starting to frustrate you, then keep watching because in today's video, I'm going to share with you how to stop being overlooked and start getting recognized for your efforts at work. Hi, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Dr. 𝙁𝙤 𝙤𝙀. I'm a career counselor and coach, and I work with women who are unhappy at work or who are trying to reach some big, audacious career goals. And I help them get super clear about who they are and provide strategies to help them land higher paying, higher impact roles that they love and can thrive in. Let's get into today's video. Okay, so one of the patterns I will say that I have seen in the past few months with some of the clients that I've been working with in my one-on-one coaching program, Next Level Career. So just FYI, Next Level Career, this is where I help women land promotions without compromising who they are, with faith and with confidence. And I've seen a pattern where a lot of the women I've been working with have noticed that they have been getting passed over for promotions or they're being overlooked. In fact, one of my most recent clients, straight up, she has been passed over for promotion 2 times within the last 3 years. And she has asked for a raise once and they said no within that same time period. Like that was the thing that made her say, you know what? I need to work with a coach to land a promotion and just leave this company and go where I'm valued. And so if that sounds familiar, one thing that I've noticed a lot of women tend to do when it comes to work is you're doing this, put your head down. I'm just going to wait for my work to speak for itself. You're expecting your leaders to notice you, to notice your effort, and then to reward you for it accordingly. But girl, unfortunately, that's not how the world of work works, at least not in the United States, okay? You keep waiting for your work to speak for itself, but you have to speak for your work. You can't make any assumptions when it comes to what people know about you and what people know about the work that you're doing. So if you have ever felt like you're doing everything you're supposed to do, you're putting in overtime, you're volunteering for the projects, you're working hard, you're staying late, you're coming early, you're picking up the slack, and still other people keep getting promoted over you, or they're bringing external people to do jobs that you know good and well that you can do, or you straight up ask for the promotion and they say, you're not ready. You just need more experience. We're looking for somebody with leadership potential. Girl, they don't know what you're doing. They don't know all the work that you think you're doing, or you're not doing the right work. One or the other is happening. But either way, you are going to have to start learning how to communicate and talk about your work if you have any goals or desires to get promoted this year. Like if you came into the year saying, I'm ready for a promotion, I'm tired of my hard work going overlooked, I'm ready to go higher into the next level in my career, the number one thing you need to do to get recognized for all your effort is start talking about your work. Stop waiting for people to notice you. Stop waiting for people to figure out all the work you're doing and stop waiting to get rewarded for all the work you're doing. Girl, you have to advocate for yourself. And so in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what exactly do you communicate? How do you communicate? How do you even identify the impact you're having so that you can position yourself as a valuable and impactful employee that is ready for the next level in your career? Okay, so I'm thinking about one of my clients that I was working with recently, and she had been doing the job. So she was in an assistant director role and the director left the organization. So she had been operating as both the director and the assistant director for about 18 months. And when it was time for them to fill that director position, I mean, she had been doing the job. She put herself forward and they said no. They said they didn't think she was ready and they ended up bringing in somebody external to be the director. And within like 3 months of that new person being in there, it became very clear very quickly that the person they brought in externally had no idea how to do the job. Like the new manager kept asking my client how to do things, kept putting things off onto my client, kept making my client do more, like both her job and the director level role. And so when we started working together, it was like very, very clear very quickly, like for you to have been doing director level role for 18 months and they didn't give you the job, they did not truly value you and your efforts. Now, I should also say, I don't know this for a fact, but as usual with everything that happens, there might just have been some sexism and racism happening, which was why she didn't get the role. And also, she failed to position herself as a valuable member of the team. And that was when we started working together, she said to me straight up, like, I really have a hard time talking about my work. I have a hard time telling people what I've done. And so when it comes to interviews or when they ask me questions, I just feel stuck because I don't know how to talk about why what I did was important. And it was like, okay, let's clean this up. We can fix this problem real quick. But that right there is the problem. Because if you want to advance in your career, you have to be able to talk about what you're doing and why it matters. So how exactly do you start talking about your work? Like, how do you move from that waiting for people to notice you, your work is going to speak for itself mindset, to the owning your accomplishments, owning your impact, and talking about it so that you get noticed mindset? First, you can just start small. Whether it's in team meetings, in your one-on-ones with your manager, start small by just sharing things that you did that week or that month. So for example, when you're in team meetings, think about the projects that you all are working on. And when you start the meeting, just tell people, here's what I accomplished last month and how it's going to help us. Like, oh, last week I did blank and it's going to increase our efficiency in this way. Or I did blank and it's going to help us reach our goals in this way. Just make it a habit to actually say what you're doing out loud in team environments where other people can hear and see the work that you're doing. And then in your one-on-ones with your supervisor, which, mind you, when you're trying to get a promotion, it's so important that you're not just waiting for the regularly scheduled one-on-one meetings with your manager. You have to take the initiative and ask to meet with your manager, get on their calendar at regular intervals. At the very least, every 3 months, you should be in a meeting with them. And when you're in those meetings, make sure you're telling them what you've done and what you've accomplished. Talk about your progress that you have made on key projects. Talk about the challenges that you have overcome. Talk about the results that you have driven. And this one is a big one. I see this problem both in when women are just talking about their work and on resumes a lot, where you'll just list your responsibilities. So you might say something like, I finished a report, or I was responsible for putting together a report. And it's like, girl, so what? Why does that matter? Why do we care about the report? How is this report going to impact the company, the team, the project? So instead of just saying, I finished the report, you can say something like, I finished the report 2 days early, which allowed our team to make a quicker decision on X. That last part is how you start showing the impact, when you connect your work to specific outcomes that you or the team is experiencing. So that's your first step, is just make it a habit. I want you to start this week. When you accomplish something, when you do something, just talk about it in the team meetings. Talk about it to your manager. Just make it a habit to start saying what you're doing so that people start noticing that you are actually a valuable employee. Now, when you're talking about your work, you can also use what I call the rule of 3 to talk about your work. So the rule of 3 are the 3 things that you should always include when you're talking or writing about your work. And the first is what you did. So what did you do? How you did it. So what are the skills or the tools that you used to do it? And what was the result or the impact? This third one is where most people drop the ball. Like, you'll say what you did and how you did it, but you'll never say what the outcome was, what the impact was. And when I say impact, I mean, how did this make a difference for the company? How did this make a difference for your department? How did this make a difference for your team? So whenever you're talking about your work, use the rule of 3 to share what you did. So here's an example of what that might sound like. I streamlined the onboarding process using new SOPs, what you did, how you did it, which cut training time by 25% and increased new higher satisfaction scores. Did you see the pattern there? What you did, streamlined onboarding, how you did it, new SOPs, outcome, cut the training time by 25%, increase satisfaction scores. When you speak this way, this is how people start noticing that you're making a difference. This is how leaders start noticing that you are impactful. And when it comes to promotions, usually 2 things are at play, okay? One is just relationships. Who knows you? Who's advocating for you? Who's saying your name behind closed doors? And 2, your impact and your work. What do people know you for? What do people know that you can do and do well? When you talk about your work this way, you start showing that you're making a difference in the organization. And then finally, when you think about those results that you're talking about, try your best as much as possible to connect those results to the goals that your leaders care about. So I'm sure at the beginning of the year or last year, at some point, your leaders have said, what is the strategic goal that the company is working towards? What are they trying to achieve? What are the outcomes they want to experience? When you're thinking about your results, make a connection between your results and what your leaders want to see happen in the organization. So for example, if the leaders came in saying, hey, this year our goal is to increase revenue by A, B, C, and D, then when you're talking about your work, keep thinking to yourself, how is what I'm doing indirectly contributing to either increased revenue or reduced expenses? And how can I talk about my work in a way that constantly connects what I'm doing? Again, even if it's indirectly, connect what I'm doing to increase revenue, because that's what your leaders care about. And so when you talk about your work and you say, I did this and it led to an increase in revenue by 5%, their ears are going to go ping, because guess what? That's what they care about. And so when you say that you're doing what they care about, now they're going to pay attention and look closer and say, who's this person? What are they doing? How might they continue to help us reach our goals as an organization? Now, as I'm talking about, okay, you need to talk more about your work, there might be a part of you that's saying, I just do my work. Like, I'm not having any impact. I'm not impacting the organization. I'm not a leader. I'm just like down here doing the work. And I'm saying this because a lot of women have come to me thinking, I'm not making impact. My skills are basic. Everybody can do what I do. And I always tell them, I'm going to tell you what I tell them. That's probably not true. You are making impact in some way, shape, or form. And that's why when I work with my clients in my one-on-one coaching program, Next Level Career, I use something called the TDO framework to help my clients identify their impact. And then we use that to talk about their impact on their resume, in their interviews, and in their networking conversations. So let me share the TDO framework with you real quick so that you can help you shift your mindset about if you are and how you are having impact. And you've heard me say this already in this video. TDO just stands for team, department, and organization. If your work is not making a difference at the team level, which is the basic level, something's wrong somewhere. That's all I can think to say then. I don't think you should be doing that work. I don't know what, I don't even have the words. We need to find you a different job. Okay. If at the very bare minimum, you are not helping your team achieve their goals, then yeah, something's up. You are not being impactful. And so that's just the first level that a lot of people always forget is, I'm sure what you're doing in some way, shape, or form is helping your bigger team achieve their goals. Are you helping them achieve it faster, smoother? Are you putting in new processes that makes y'all work more efficiently? Are you helping retain clients? Are you helping increase clients? Just think about, what is my job? What is my role contributing to what my team is working on? And then you can make the next connection of, okay, how does my team play into my department? If you're impacting your team and your team is impacting the department, then you are indirectly impacting the department. So what are you doing that is in some way, shape, or form impacting the success of your entire department? And then finally, the O is organization. Can you see how your work is shaping the organization, is making a difference in the organization? A lot of times women get stuck on this one because you think you have to have directly done the thing for it to count. But no, indirect impact is still impact. If you know that your role made your team achieve a project faster, which then allowed the company to submit a proposal quicker, well, guess what? If y'all didn't do your part, they wouldn't have been able to submit that project and they wouldn't have gotten the contract. You still made a difference. You still made an impact. So don't just focus on those direct connections. Also look at the indirect connections to help you start identifying, how am I making an impact? And so once you've identified the impact, again, back to the beginning of this video, your job is to now start talking about it. Tell anybody who will listen what you're doing and the difference that it's making. When you start talking about your work, one, it will help you start getting recognized within your organization, which positions you for that promotion you're trying to land this year. But two, it will get you ready for interviews. If you decide that you want to go into a different organization to land that promotion, now because you're used to talking about your work, when you go into interviews, you know how to sell yourself. You know how to market your skills because you've been practicing that already. When it comes to redoing your resume, you know what to write because you've been talking about your accomplishments. So once you just take that small step of actually talking about what you're doing and the difference that you're making, you will see a trickle down effect into your overall journey towards landing a promotion this year. Now, if your goal is to land a higher paying, higher impact role this year, and you want to learn everything you need to do step by step to do that within 90 days or less, I want to invite you to check out my private podcast series, Advance to Your Next Level Job as a Christian Woman. This podcast was built to help share with you faith-driven, actionable strategies that will help you land that next level job that allows you to have more impact, more responsibility, and more pay in your career. Go to hercareerdoctor.com/advance. Again, that URL is hercareerdoctor.com/advance. It's on the screen and in the description below. And just sign up to get immediate access to all the episodes in the podcast series so that you can start learning how you can land your own higher paying, higher impact role within the next few months. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know in the comments below what resonated with you. Are you going to start communicating your impact? And if so, what are you going to start saying? And don't click away, because I'm sure there's another video on the screen here that's going to help you hit your career goals. So just tap the next video that pops up so that you can keep learning strategies to help you achieve your career goals this year. Thanks again for watching, and go watch the next video right now.